Yeah, man. It's March the 8th, 2022. This Kevin Christian. And I'll just go over a few things. Um, I feel like I'm way behind myself because back in 2017, I already knew what was going on with gang stalking and pretty much the basics of how it worked, okay? And I had started to learn a little bit about like computer stuff. So I had learned about um, Apache server and local hosts and enabling languages in the configuration file and starting to work in a text editor, code editor for like HTML and a little bit into PHP and developing a website. And so those things were something that I was working on, and I bought a hosting package and I had telepathic.saga.com, and I left it up for a while until the hosting package expired, and then I just let it come down. And but ultimately, I did learn a lot during that phase, but I did end up just kind of forgetting about it and letting it go and going through a few more stages of gang stalking and remote neural monitoring. And it really, I feel like, I'm 5 years, that's 2000, it's 2022, that's 5 years ago. So I feel like I'm behind myself, a lot, but at the same time, I feel like it took a while, to develop my mentality and to build this infrastructure of, everything that I've tried to put together and making things more official and just getting my mind right, and getting myself together and getting myself in a better position, getting my money in a better position. And it's not like I'm in a great position. I really am not, but I'm in a lot better position now than I was in then. And that's back when they had destroyed my life. But even then, I knew what was going on as far as um, how it worked in general. How they. Here, let me turn on. Let me turn on a light. How it worked in general and how they had taken over my devices and how they used my accounts and how everything was kind of working with the live streams and EMF broadcasts, all of the stuff that they do with gang stalking. And over the years, I've worked out a few more details, and I've encountered some more people that had or stand to get or whatever ended up getting neural monitoring or just other targeted people. And I've had a lot of experiences, but here I am back again. All right, back to the beginning, trying to work with the basic the beginning basics of Facebook, developers Facebook, and the SDKs, and trying to understand how all of this stuff goes together and how these gang stalkers are using my account aside from any settings that I can access, and what's really going on with all of that, as well as like text editor like HTML and basic, you know, getting back into databases and um, some of the languages where I kind of left off and starting to build my own infrastructure and be able to secure the things that I have and get into the depths of the privacy settings and the different things that allow them to access private internet stuff over different local area networks or whatever. Okay, I'm not. It's not like I'm trying to sound smart. It's just these are the things where I left off, and it's come to a point now where I've gotten my life a lot more together and my mind a lot more together, and I feel a lot more um, pressure to be the that responsible to be able, because I know I'm smart enough. So just to learn all of these things um, and to get myself out of this horrible position of being gang stalked and to make them pay for the horrible things that they've done to me and to everybody else. It's a bad deal, and I definitely intend on giving a lot of guidance to everybody else going through what I'm going through, just as I have from the beginning. As I progress, but because I'm not a sellout, and that's it. I'm not a sellout, and you're gonna be real hard pressed to get me to take some neural monitoring and just walk away from helping these people that y'all do horrible stuff to, and keep me from bullying a bunch of gang stalkers and getting what I rightfully deserve overall, how they've been holding me down as a slave, and stealing my intellectual content, doing these live streams and attacking my body, my family, my life, stealing my time, and all of those things. So, and back then in 2017, it was even before then, okay, way before then, when the first whole thing started, but I didn't know it started back in 2012 and 13, like beginning of 13, where I knew somebody that ended up like suddenly hanging out with some people that had neural monitoring and getting on Android developer and having virtual machines on their other devices and hosting packages and all this stuff coming right out of somebody that didn't ever have a computer and instantly was just from smartphone to super developer person. Okay, it's like, yeah, you got neural monitoring, and I know what's up, and I know how this all works. So, it's just it's a whole process, and then over the next couple years, I would really learn a lot about and encounter other people that had neural monitoring and kind of how it all worked with the virtual machines and how they had all their different privacy settings and DNS and all of that stuff worked out. And I've seen too much from real people that have or ended up getting or got neural monitoring, however way. Okay, I've seen too much. And so I know how it works. I know how it's all integrated into Facebook and how they do their live streams and all of it. I know it all. So I started college, now for computer programming to give myself the structure, and I'm just in the basic stuff, but I'm still on my personal time. I'm back on to, getting deeper into the languages and how it all works. And I'm going to be way ahead of the school thing, I think, you know. But it's going to help me overall to have a full spectrum of everything. And so, but this is the way. If you don't want to be a slave, if you're not into slavery, this is the way to gain your freedom and to gain what's owed to you and to hold some people accountable. And a lot of us should be doing this. And no, it's not demons, and no, it's not. Yeah, it's demons and Satan. Okay. But I'm telling you that you're going to have to deal with these people that are possessed by demons and Satan, that are gang stalkers, that have access to broadcast stuff, and you're going to have to deal with them on a very intellectual level, as far as like learning computer stuff, to be able to corner them, because they'll do whatever they want to you forever. If you don't make a stand and put yourself in a position to learn the things necessary. All right, so right down from the beginning, text editor, okay? HTML and CSS for basic web pages, PHP and JavaScript for server side or back end, and learn about source code and APIs and the different things with developers, Facebook and the other social media sites, and learn about app development and web development and all of that, and start to understand networks and the different protocols. And those are the keys. And if you want to have your freedom, that's the only way. And you have to start learning all this stuff. And you got to really start from the beginning. You could dig all day and you don't know what you're looking at, and it's not going to help you. And we've all been there. We've all been there, digging in somebody's phone or something and trying to figure out what's going on. It's remote neural monitoring. They have access to neural monitoring, neurological broadcast frequency profiles of each person. They have theirs. It's their own profiles, like a social media, the ultimate one. They have access to yours, and you don't. So you can't stop them from accepting these requests of different levels of infiltration to your mind and your body. Okay? And that's it. You have to learn this stuff. So, just a basic rundown. I started dealing with it back in the days, like 2013. I started really looking into it and then realizing I was hacked. I had Mac stuff. I didn't think I was possible to be hacking me, but it was. And then from there, I started learning about all the different things that are possible with coding and just trying to put it all together, of how it all works together with one another. And I've learned a lot about how they use virtual devices to hide all the neural monitoring stuff, and how they log into that, and how they can host virtual devices on a physical device and like take over and administrate that, or how they can um, use an app and modify that app to be kind of like their app, their virtual device or their app, or wherever they run their live streams from. And the different gang stalkers can have different apps, and they're all on your phone. They're able to be a broadcast by you and connect to your phone with broadcasts, and then from there use your networks and your service to get out to the internet to do live streams and all of this stuff, man. And then they'll use the court systems against you because you're not smart enough to prove anything yet. Okay, they're using it. They're on your social medias. They're running actually on your accounts with some third party development, something that they've done to run your account with a live stream on something that you can't even access, and that's a violation of your privacy from these different social medias like Facebook. Don't get off of your social medias, but learn about them and learn how to use this stuff. All this stuff's really important, and you wouldn't think so, and I know it's a pain in the neck. It really is, but you want to be a slave? Do you want somebody else to have your neural monitoring, the control panel, the interface online to your neurological broadcast frequency, and who you're connected with and what the limitations of those connections are? Do you want to have somebody being able to crawl into your heart to shock your organs with a broadcast that feels like you're dying? Do you want that? Or do you want to be able to block that person off? And no, they can't turn on a high pitched frequency while you're asleep. While you're trying to sleep, they can't sit there and physically attack you and talk your head off, and they can't know what you're thinking and see what you see. Know your safe combinations, your passwords, and everything else about you. What girl you got a crush on, and how you're a weird little person when you play with yourself. I don't know, bro. You can't have people knowing this stuff about you. You know what I mean? And the government's not going to help. We could calculate that by now. They haven't helped. They're just in the business of letting this go on and be in big business. You got to obviously put yourself in the position to take your neural monitoring and be financially stable. All right, when you get all of this evidence to hold local departments and governments accountable for upholding the law, like you must uphold these laws against these people doing this stuff to me because I'm showing you, because you made laws that says hacking is illegal, and the hacking leads to neural monitoring. What are you doing with all these live streams and all this streaming stuff? You got to become somebody that understands how it all works. And how it all works is they're able to broadcast, and then they're doing everything that they do online. They're connected to their own neural monitoring and your neural monitoring, making these connections and running live streams and Truman showing your life, and they're making money from traffic, internet traffic, advertising, and everything else that you could make on the normal life of internet. There's ways to make money, and this is a whole underground subculture of millions and millions of people. This ain't just some little cult over and wherever that's got 1,000 people. No, this is many, many millions of people have neural monitoring, and there's a whole subculture and underground thing where they all are able to just get onto private web and access all of this stuff and have mind control and the right settings on your phone and modified OSs and filters to see broadcasts and all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, but this is 2022, and this has been going on for a lot of people for a long time, and it's got real common when mobile internet became a thing. Like when smartphones and mobile internet, and when home internet became available throughout the 90s, it started to pick up. Prior to that, you probably had to be like an agent or somebody. You had to have a way to access it. It's your neurological broadcast frequency. Okay, the EMF, electromagnetic field of Earth, being the infrastructure, and this satellite network of thousands of satellites around the world are the broadcast into EMF being the infrastructure. Okay, so, and every person can be picked up and read by your unique signature EMF frequency. Your bioelectric signature frequency. We all have one, and it can read everything. If you see something, your mind processes that and you let that off, and it can be picked up by the satellite system. And if you close your eyes and imagine something, all right, a dream, of imagination, it can be picked up. It's something that your mind is processing, and you can't shield that. This system can read all of that, including what you're thinking, whether you got a feeling in your body somewhere, or anything that you're wondering about. It's all can be picked up, and then somebody else who makes that connection to you on neural monitoring, they can receive that. And in their mind, they're wearing this mind control headset and receiving that. It's like a distribution amplifier on their head, okay? And they're wearing this headset, and to them, those thoughts are right in their mind, like they're their own, and they process it the same way. And so to them, those thoughts are just boom, they're in their mind like they thought them themselves. That's mind control. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with mind control. If one consents to being mind controlled or to letting somebody else receive their mind, that is fine. What's not fine is the unconsensual connection. And I got to listen to these idiots who know what I think and comment on everything. And I got to deal with them getting mad and taking a personal interest in my life and being upset about this or that. And it almost becomes like a rivalry or a war. And then you got to wonder, like, how can I defend myself? They are able to attack me with broadcasts from somewhere else. They're hacked into my everything. I can't get neural monitoring if I knew everything because they're blocking my everything. You have to become a very serious person about learning computer programming and network stuff and all of that. And that's why I've been working on it. I've got my apologies for waiting years, but I feel like it's necessary because obviously that's what happened. And I had to get my mind right and get into a place where everything could come together. My intellectual maturity and my financial maturity and learn everything that I'm learning about it and how that can all come together as a real force rather than me just learning something. And now I have the platform with a good number of people that are paying attention. And so with all of that combined, I can make an impact. I can make a difference. Okay. But I have to continue to learn and be strong while they try to hurt me and while they try to suppress me. And I find different ways that they try to suppress me physically, financially, mentally, every kind of way that they can. If they can find a way to hold me down some more, they'll do that, including using judicial systems and whatever they could come up with, really. And it gets like that. And so you become like a super Jedi. Like you gotta think about everything, right? If this happens, and they might say this, and if this happens, who knows what they might try to go file this or say this about me, and then the public perception, and all of these different things, and it's a whirlwind, and of things you have to be conscious of. And it's far more than somebody that can relax and know that they're private and they can just let loose or whatever, and it's almost like trying to adapt to fame or something. Not that I'm famous, but like so many people watching that want to destroy me, and you have to learn to adapt to that where you become somebody that doesn't let off anything that can get you. You become defensive and paranoid or very cautious at least, and so those things, it just is a natural way that you become. And I like to think like they are making me better, but at the same time, they're hurting my body with the broadcast stuff. They really are. It's not a joke. It's not a crazy psychopath thing, and millions of people are going through that have no idea what they're going through and what's really happening. So so it's a big problem. You could see why, if the government's been using this technology for 50 years, but for the last 15 or 20 or something, it's been seeping out to the public. And now it's a big problem where gang stalking and torture is a big thing, but they don't want to come out with it because it's like the biggest scandal of all time. Really, mind control over man. It's the biggest scandal of all time. And, you know, it can have a big influence and a big effect on your life, just receiving broadcast mentally, whether or not you're being physically attacked. But the physical attacks are a good way to suppress, to hold somebody down. To make you they can make your back hurt all day, every day, where all you want to do is lay in the bed, which leads to any kind of number of behaviors to try to cope with life with this horrible condition. That's really relating from broadcast, and they'll do things like it's so hard to fight through a lot of the things that they do, and they'll I mean, but it's balancing out more a little bit where you got enough people that have neural monitoring that are not so horrible, but I don't know the extent of the rules or the boundaries that they have that they can cross. But it seems like anybody on either side can give whoever they want neural monitoring, but it's always probably a calculation of will this person cause the mind control revolution to move forward, or can we think this person might just hold it down like all of us, good or bad side, because there's people that seem like they want to help you or they seem like they're on your team or whatever. It's just it's a whole thing, that you have to go through. But I am back on the job now. I'm doing my full time thing at work, and I'm doing pretty much. It's gonna balance out to about a full time school situation. So far I'm doing well, and I hope to continue to be able to do well and hold everything down. They continue to attack my life, my situation, financially, personally, uh, all of those ways, and psychologically and physically. They're attacking me in every one of those ways. I know who has my neural monitoring, and it's just a race. It's a race to destroy me before I become too big for them to contain. It's going. But I am getting back onto my personal learning experiences with the computer programming stuff, and I am going to school for it full time. So uh, we'll see where it takes us, and I promise you, that's the way. That's the way. While you build and put yourself financially in a situation to do things legally and gain your evidence, but the computer programming in general and all of that stuff is going to help you to gain the evidence that you need. One thing you can count on is these gang stalkers being idiots and doing what they do until the last minute when they thought they could hopefully jump ship on the final little battle, but it's not going to work out for them. It's really not. But and they've done. It's like they're like, oh, what if we just gave you the neural monitoring? It's like they want me to just let it all go, but at the same time, they want to continue to torture me until the very last moment, right? And the very last moment means I beat them, and then they want to try to say, okay, but I mean, who's gonna go for that? Who's gonna go for that with the $100 million ahead of them and everything they ever wanted, or death from the CIA or something like that, which I probably wouldn't know the difference. Okay, so I expect it, you know. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I appreciate all you guys watching my channel. I swear to God, I'm all the way real with all of it. Realist about it. It's just that's how it goes. Everything I've told you on my channel, like I ain't BSing or lying. I ain't perfect, and I get gritty sometimes, but ultimately, I promise you, I know what I'm talking about, and I promise you, this is how neural monitoring works. And it's a shame that the governments and billionaires and millionaires and even the street level people, because it's supposed to be a thing, street level normal people, they get neural monitoring, and that saves us, humanity, from being, mind controlled and enslaved by the elites. It's supposed to be that way. And they ruined it. They ruined it. They really did. And then you got street level people that never had any power that decided they were going to suddenly abuse the power. And now you got torture going on everywhere, and this mind control maniac phase of neural monitoring where people are just using it for all kinds of retarded stuff, abusive stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame that for all the people that got it, that let it go down this way. It's really a shame. Um, it's not going anywhere. It's part of the future. We are connected. It's going to be a hive. You're cybernetic at this point, and we all are. And so it's going to be this way from now on. And the quicker that we come to the order of operations here, like I got to have mine. That's mine, bro. You can't be controlling mine. Okay. See, it's worse. I don't want to say it was worse. It's very horrible. Okay. It's a a very serious form of slavery and human trafficking, and it's been going on for a long time. And the quicker that we come to grips with it and everybody gets their own, the quicker we can move on as a race of humans, a species. All right, that's what we are. We're a species of humans that we can't advance until the suppression and the slavery and everything else stops. And everybody's got to have their own. Okay, and everybody who's been dealing with it, I don't know, bro. What do you want me to say? It's all good. You tortured me for 9 to 10 years. I'm cool with it. Just let me have my neural monitoring. We'll all just go ahead. You're dangerous. You're dangerous people. You got to be dealt with. Right? And the people who supported you got to be dealt with. And the whole thing's